If this morning you were given one more chance to begin again, would you let Jesus lead the way? Every morning is a gift. Not everyone opens their eyes to see the sunrise, to breathe in the cool air, to feel the warmth of light touching their face. That light is not only from the sun. It is the light of grace, the gentle invitation of God whispering, "My child, I am still here with you." But in the rush of daily life, we often forget this. We wake up, check our phones, worrying about tasks and deadlines, and sometimes we forget that the first thing our souls truly need is to meet Jesus, the one who gave us another day to live, to love, to heal, and to try again. When we turn our hearts toward Him the moment we awake, something beautiful happens. The day feels lighter, clearer, and filled with peace. Dawn is more than the start of a new day. It's a symbol of resurrection, renewal, and rebirth of faith. Just as Jesus stepped out of the tomb on Easter morning, the rising sun is a reminder that every darkness will fade, if only we believe. When you open your eyes, whisper softly, "Lord Jesus, thank you for this new day. Please help me begin it with your love and your strength." Perhaps you're facing difficulties, old wounds, or fears that never seem to end. But remember, God never promised that the road would be easy, only that you would never walk it alone. Each morning, before the world stirs, He is already waiting, quietly, patiently, smiling, saying, "I know you were weary yesterday, but today, let me walk beside you." Try this. Start your morning not with plans, but with prayer. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Whisper, "Lord, please take control of my day." Just that one simple sentence can change everything. Because when we let God lead, the heavy becomes light, and the impossible becomes possible. You will be amazed to see that a gloomy morning can still be full of light. A challenge you feared might become the lesson that helps you grow. A single kind word, a simple act of love, can plant a seed of grace in someone's heart. And it all begins with one thing: a morning entrusted to Jesus. He doesn't ask for perfection. He only asks for your heart. In His eyes, no day is meaningless. Every sunrise is a new chapter in the story of grace, written together by you and Him. When you begin your day with gratitude and prayer, you don't just calm your thoughts. You invite the presence of God into every breath. He will place peace where there was worrying, light where there was darkness, and hope where there once was despair. The dawn is God's quiet way of saying, "Even if you cried last night, I still give you this morning to smile." And in that very moment, as you watch the light unfold, remember, this isn't just the start of another day. It's the rebirth of faith, gratitude, and divine strength. Your day won't feel complete without a prayer. Your heart won't feel whole without a silent pause to recognize His love. And your journey will find purpose when you can say, "Lord, today I choose to trust you. Whatever comes, I know you hold my hand." That is the secret of those who live in true peace. They do not draw strength from themselves, but from the one who created them. And when you begin your day with that faith, nothing can defeat you. Sometimes, the hardest thing isn't starting over. It's believing that Jesus is still with you even when you've fallen. There are mornings when you wake up and feel so heavy that you don't even want to get out of bed. The sun still shines, the birds still sing, but inside, it feels like your soul is wrapped in a fog of weariness and confusion. You whisper, "Lord, where are you in all of this? Why do I pray and hear nothing back?" Yet it is in those very moments, the ones when God seems silent, that He is working most deeply within you. He doesn't always answer through words, but through endurance, quiet strength, and the courage you didn't know you had. When your heart breaks, when your plans collapse, when tears fall for no reason, that isn't the moment God leaves you. It's the moment He reshapes your life into something more beautiful than before. You might not see the full picture yet, but he does. Every brushstroke has meaning in his design. Remember, even Jesus himself once felt sorrow. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me." But then he added, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." That is the power of surrender, not weakness, but courage. The courage to trust that God's plan is always good, even when we cannot understand it. You might be standing in the middle of a storm right now, but don't forget, the waves cannot sink a boat that carries Jesus. He might seem to be asleep in your boat, but one honest prayer can awaken his power. He will stand, look into your chaos, and command, "Be still." And the winds will obey. That same authority still reigns in your life today. If you feel tired, don't hide it. If you're crying, don't think you're alone. For Jesus once wept too. Betrayed, abandoned, rejected, yet he kept loving until his final breath. That same love now lives in you, a love stronger than despair. Let him heal you, not through instant miracles, but through the gentle rhythm of faith. Each day, give him one pain, one memory, one piece of your brokenness. Over time, you will begin to see that in every crack, he plants a seed of hope. God doesn't simply glue your broken pieces together. He creates a new masterpiece out of them, stronger, deeper, and filled with divine purpose. It's a sacred mystery. When you are weakest, his grace becomes the strongest. When you fall, he doesn't condemn you. He bends down, places his hand on your shoulder, and whispers, "My child, stand up. I am still here." You might feel you're not strong enough, not faithful enough, not worthy enough. But God isn't looking for perfection. He's looking for a willing heart. And when you place that weary heart in his hands, you'll feel yourself lifted by the same hands that were once nailed to the cross for you. So if today you are weary, don't run away. Let Jesus hold you. Let him wipe your tears and breathe new courage into your soul. The same Lord who turned the disciples' fear into faith can also turn your pain into strength and your fall into testimony. And if this message is touching your heart right now, take a moment to leave an amen in the comments or tap like. Not for this video, but as your personal declaration that even in my weakness, Christ is my strength. Sometimes, that small act of faith is the spark that reminds you, you are never alone, because every time you fall, Jesus is there, not to judge, but to lift you up. And when you rise again, not by your own power, but by the power of God, you'll realize no pain is wasted, no tear is forgotten. Each one has been woven into the story of your becoming, a story written by the one who turns brokenness into beauty. Not every boat can escape the storm, but the boat that carries Jesus will never sink. Life, at times, feels like a vast ocean, unpredictable, deep, and full of hidden waves. Some days, everything seems calm and steady. You sail smoothly, filled with confidence and direction. Then, without warning, the sky darkens, the wind howls, and the storm rises. A piece of bad news, a loss, a heartbreak, and suddenly your world tilts, leaving you gasping for balance. Yet, even in those violent tempests, Jesus does not disappear. He hasn't left your boat. He is there, teaching you to trust him in the storm, not only when the sea is calm. The disciples once faced such a storm. Their boat was filling with water, tossed by raging waves, and fear consumed them. They cried out, "Teacher, we're going to drown." But Jesus stood, calm and unshaken, and said, "Peace, be still." And immediately the wind stopped, and the sea grew silent. The disciples trembled and whispered to one another, "Who is this man, that even the wind and waves obey him?" That story isn't just a miracle from long ago. It's a living parable for every storm in your own life. The storms are not signs that God has abandoned you. They're invitations to deeper faith. True faith isn't measured by how many prayers you speak, but by how you respond when those prayers seem unanswered. Sometimes God allows the winds to blow harder, the waves to rise higher, not to drown you, but to teach you to fix your eyes on Him, not on your fear. When you focus on the storm, you sink. But when you focus on Jesus, you find strength to walk even on the water. Remember Peter? When Jesus called him, "Come," Peter stepped out of the boat. For a few miraculous steps, he walked on the water. But when the wind roared, he grew afraid and began to sink. Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and said, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" That gentle question echoes across time, reminding us the storm can only swallow those who forget that Jesus is near. Faith doesn't make the storm disappear. It makes you stand firm in the middle of it. Faith doesn't calm the sea. It calms the heart that faces it. Many people ask, why does God allow this storm? But those who have walked through the dark waves and come out alive will tell you, it was there, in the storm, that I met God most deeply. Because when you have nothing left to cling to, you realize that Christ is the only anchor that never moves. If you are in a storm today, a storm of failure, of sickness, of loneliness, or the silent storm within your own heart, do not be afraid. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and whisper, "Lord, I don't understand everything that's happening, but I know you're here." That one simple prayer is enough to bring peace, even before the storm ends. Then you'll begin to see something wondrous. It's not that the storm gets smaller. It's that your faith grows stronger. It's not that the waves stop. It's that your soul learns to stand taller. And it's not that fear vanishes. It's that love and trust take its place. Storms are not your enemies. They're the classrooms of faith. Each one teaches you something new, that no strength lasts unless it's rooted in God. And once you learn that, you no longer see yourself as a victim of the waves, but as a student shaped by His divine hand. Faith is the anchor that keeps your life steady amid the fiercest winds. It doesn't stop the storm. It stops you from drifting away. It holds your heart firm when everything else around you shakes. And if you can hold on to that faith, then no matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how wild the sea becomes, you can still whisper with a calm heart, "Lord, I trust you. I don't need the storm to stop. I just need you to stay with me through it." That is the true power of faith. Not a life without storms, but peace within them. Because when you know that Jesus is in your boat, you can face any sea, any wave, any fear, and still say, "It is well with my soul." Have you ever prayed with all your heart, cried until your soul ached, and yet nothing happened? You looked up at the sky, and it felt as if heaven was closed. No answer, no sign, just silence, heavy, endless silence. But if you are there right now, standing in that silence, breathe deeply. You are not abandoned. God has not turned His face away. He is simply teaching you to hear Him in a different way. We often imagine that God speaks in thunder, in miracles, in clear and powerful voices. But the truth is, many times, God chooses silence, not because He doesn't care, but because He wants to see if your faith can stand even when your feelings cannot. He is silent not because He forgets you, but because He is shaping something inside you, a deeper trust, a purer faith. Sometimes God withdraws His visible hand so that you may learn to walk by faith, not by sight. Think of the seed hidden beneath the soil. It lies there, in darkness, unseen and unmoving. But within that silence, life begins to form. If you disturb it too soon, it dies. So it must remain hidden, growing where no eye can see. And so it is with faith. Faith grows best not under applause or miracles, but in the sacred silence of waiting. If God answered every prayer instantly, we would never learn to trust. If he always cleared the path, we would never learn to walk through the shadows. That is why the silence of God is not punishment. It is preparation. He is not ignoring you. He is working within you. Perhaps right now, he is healing something you can't see. Perhaps he is strengthening you for the blessing that has not yet come. Or maybe he is simply teaching you patience, the kind of patience that transforms your soul. Remember this: true faith is not proven when God speaks, but when he is silent. Because silence reveals the depth of your love. Whether you seek God for what he gives, or for who he is. Mother Teresa once said, "For years I prayed and heard nothing from God. But I still loved him, I still served him, for I knew his silence was testing my faith." That is the beauty of divine silence. It is not the absence of God, but his presence in a deeper form. In the stillness, he is closer than ever, whispering not to your ears, but to your heart. And when your heart is quiet enough, you begin to hear him, not in words, but in peace. Maybe that's what God wants from you now. To stop searching for noise and start seeking stillness. To stop asking why, and start saying, "I trust you." So, if heaven feels silent, do not give up. Keep praying, keep walking, keep believing. Not because you always understand, but because you know he always loves. Every unanswered prayer, every quiet night, every tear that falls unseen, all of it is shaping you into someone stronger, more humble, more full of grace. And when the time comes, you will look back and realize it was in the silence that God was doing his greatest work. The silence of God is a language of love. It is a whisper that says, "Be still, I'm here." It is the pause before the dawn, the moment before the seed breaks open and life begins anew. So when the world grows quiet, and your prayers seem to vanish into the void, close your eyes and say, "Lord, I can't hear you right now, but I know you're near." That is the most honest prayer you can ever make. The kind of prayer that moves mountains not outside, but inside the soul. Because only those who have walked through the silence of God can understand the true meaning of faith. A faith that trusts without proof, loves without reward, and waits without fear. And when that faith is born in you, even silence will no longer scare you. It will become the soft breath of heaven, reminding you God's silence is never absence. It is love at its most mysterious depth. Maybe after all the storms, the nights of loneliness, and the moments when you thought God had forgotten you, you now see a deeper truth. He never left. He was simply leading you through the quiet valleys where faith grows roots. Every morning, as the first light breaks through the darkness, it's not just the world that awakens. It's your soul being gently called by God. Begin again with me. Jesus doesn't ask how many times you failed. He doesn't remind you of your mistakes. He doesn't judge your doubts. He simply opens his arms and says, "I'm here. Come to me." Beginning again with Jesus doesn't mean erasing your past. It means placing your past in his hands. It's not about pretending to be strong. It's about letting him lift you up. It's not about starting over alone. It's about walking beside the one who has already carried your pain. Remember, even Jesus' own journey was not one of comfort. He knew exhaustion, tears, rejection, and sorrow. But through it all, he never lost hope. And that same hope, the one that conquered death itself, is what he offers you today. A hope that renews, a strength that restores, a light that never fades. So when you open your eyes each morning, whisper softly, "Lord, I give this day to you." It's a simple sentence, but it changes everything. Because that one prayer invites heaven to walk with you, through your plans, your struggles, your laughter, and your tears. You'll start to realize something powerful. You don't need a perfect life to feel peace. You don't need riches to feel complete. You don't need to know the future to walk with confidence. Because with Jesus beside you, You already have everything you truly need. Learn to look at life through the lens of faith. When people hurt you, remember, God is teaching you to forgive. When you lose something, He is preparing something new. When you are weary, He invites you to rest in His heart. Maybe yesterday you fell. Maybe last week you lost your faith. But today, right now, you can begin again. You don't need to be perfect, only willing. You don't need to be strong, only open. Because God doesn't seek the strongest. He seeks the willing. And when you let Him lead, you'll see the pain that once broke you becomes the lesson that shapes you. The tears that once burned your eyes become the light that guides others. And the heart that once felt shattered becomes the very home where God dwells. So let every sunrise be a new meeting with Him. When the morning light slips through your window, let it remind you, no night lasts forever, and no wound is beyond His healing. If you are hearing these words now, it's not an accident. It is an invitation from God, calling you back, urging you to start anew, to live each day with renewed hope and divine strength. Because life doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins when you place your heart in God's hands. My friend, if these words have touched you, even a little, if they brought you peace, light, or just a spark of hope, then take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments so we can pray together. And if you'd like to continue walking this journey of faith, love, and light, please subscribe to this channel so that whenever your soul grows weary, you will have a place to return to, a place where Jesus waits for you with open arms. Begin your day with Jesus, because there is no beginning more beautiful than that.